Yes. Could you please stand in a line for a minute for me?
No. Yeah. No, this is front. You do a touch and right.
Move with it a little bit. This is lots of movement.
Everything comfortable and okay?
So the moment where you should change the line is there's this moment.
Yeah.
I think the first time you go here,
Yeah.
then you go back to your original.
What a nice evening this is going to be. It's going to be so beautiful, so exciting. I love watching it develop every day. Thank you for your beautiful work in all of these pieces the last 2 times we've done the run-through. Take care of your bodies tonight. We'll work through all of the technical things as a team, and anything that you need from us, share it with Caitlin, with Melanie, and the choreographers, of course. Okay?
Initially, when Lillian Stillwell, the artistic director of Theaters Münster, invited me, we started to talk about what if I created a work that was first had an iteration for the stage and then for the museum, which I found a very interesting proposition. In my work, I'm really interested in how the environment affects us, and the environment in the largest sense, whether it's a political system, literally a space that we're in, other people surrounding us, materials, everything that's not us, how are we affected by it? So the conversations were very much about safety, protection. The idea of working with a black box, which is the theater, and then this open space, this space that has a history, really attracted me, and how do people relate to one another when they are under very extremely different conditions? When do we feel supported by others? How do we find strength when we feel very exposed or vulnerable? What happens with the freeze moments is that everyone's waiting for each other and everyone's just trying to, and then the flow is completely out. So I think if you just finish your line how you would normally do it, and don't worry too much about, okay, I have to be exactly together with others, then I think it has its inner logic. And because you cannot see each other as you do on the stage, this way the one picture grows, another picture grows, and if that happens, it's fine too. For the museum, I really look at it from a completely different angle. It's not going to be a narration like a theater will demand from you. A museum is a different setting, asks for a different approach. The museum allows for a different sense of time. Yeah, so a theater, the stage transforms. The stage can look any form you want it to be, whereas a museum is more bare, it's more naked, it's more really what it is.
The theater and the museum have a long relationship, and we wanted to continue to build on that long relationship, specifically in the dance department. And Marianne and I had met each other in another context and had mutually admired each other's work, dance evenings and the curation. Parallel, she was working together with Jana on the exhibit Performance People, and I was working to bring and connect Anouk van Dijk to our work here at Theaters Münster. And then I think one day you just called me and you said, I have it, I have the idea, I have the exhibit.
Mm-hmm. This was the moment where I thought, okay, that could also be a starting point to link the dance project also in a room which is at the same time also quite unusual, the courtyard, which I think has this kind of theater idea already in it.
Wir gehen gleich rein. Also, das ist anders als im Theater, wo alle auf ihren Plätzen sitzen und vorne ist die Bühne. Das geht einmal so ganz drumherum und wir können auch noch eine Treppe raufgehen und von oben runter gucken, was sehr, sehr cool ist.
Also eure Ergebnisse habe ich fotografiert. Die bekommst du. Ich schicke die Fotos euch auch zu. Ich bearbeite die, schneide das aus. Der erste Teil hat mir richtig viel Spaß gemacht. Ich hoffe euch auch. Und denkt daran, die Geschichten, die wir gesammelt haben, können eben auch Teil davon sein, ein Tanzstück zu entwickeln zum Beispiel. Okay? Gut, dann geht's los.
In the dance company, we produce content, we produce performances, but we also have an outreach aspect which connects the practice of dancing and the experience of dancing together with people from different kinds of groups in Münster. So we built these outreach activities around the collaboration with the museums. We had an inclusive school group and high school students, children, older people dancing in the Lichthof. We had children making maps outside, walking around Münster, finding traces of the sculpture project. And these were all a way of giving people a direct experience with movement in space and time in Münster. The other aspect is that we commissioned a documentary film by Sowohl Performance People, and we wanted to give a longer life to this project and to all of the things that stand behind it, because to bring two institutions together is a big task. And we wanted to show the complexity, the challenges, the highs, maybe some lows, and provide something that could stay in the archives of the museum and for sure of the dance company and of the theater.
Because this is very nice. This is called attachment piece, right? So this as a start. I think that needs to be like that, and then it's a bit hardcore maybe, huh? And then from there you go back up. Yeah. Can we try that? It's almost like let go of different. You don't have support anymore?
You need to be attached to function.
Thank you, Dijk. There we go.
Habt ihr von
oben geguckt, von ganz oben?
Ja, wir haben alle unterschiedliche Ebenen gehabt. Ne? Sind immer wieder rumgegangen, ja. Okay.
Mir fand es am meisten die Musik gut. Das ist so, man macht sich ruhiger. Und so. Das war gut.
War das diese Stimme, diese Musik mit der Stimme? Diese
Ja.
Ja, das hätte
The pavilion of Dan Graham is an architecture within an architecture now. You see yourself in the mirror outside or in a mirror-like glass, and you could see other people acting with the glass and the surfaces, and you could see also from inside to outside. So it's quite a special architecture reflecting all the other things in the room, and this is also, I think, part of the dance space. This idea of reflecting and looking to each other and watching other people by doing a performance.
And it really creates something that you barely have in a museum space, because you wander around normally and you have your own pace and somebody talking to you, and this makes this really like concentrated moment of time, which I find quite interesting.
So you get a relationship between a person and the space that they're in. Maybe they're exposed or they're looking for safety in that space, but it has meaning. Or a dancer pushes her head against the mirrored wall of the artwork. That itself, the interaction gets meaning, which is not necessarily the meaning that the artist intended it to have. So that will be what we offer to the space.
Connecting a bit to our breath, how we feel right now. It's a combination of exhaustion and excitement, or maybe many more things. Good. So let that just all be part of you right now. And bringing them back up, creasing at the elbows, the shoulders, and we do that a few more times. So feeling kind of this shaking, the weight of the bones, then you can kind of crease it. Good morning.
We were just debating, should we send a message, should we call? Among nights. Just a little to Hey, Dijk.
Hello. Hi. Great day. Great expectations.
So this is here, over there, and
The main,
over there.
most people, 90% of the people interested
Will go from there.
will start there.
And then people who go from there or there. Is it?
It's only there.
Oh, it's only there.
Mostly there.
Okay,
Yeah,
so it's
there's
two entrances.
Yeah, two entrances. No, three. It's a. We have the second floor, the third floor, if you want to put this way, behind the white wall.
Daniel, doesn't it make sense at 18:45 when we close the room to close all those three doors?
That's what I-
only
that's
let
what
the
I-
people come through
That's
here
what I
for the
was
performance.
talking about.
So
Guards
those
will close.
Whenever you risk something, you find challenges and you stumble on something. But that's also part of the reason to try, because you don't know what you're going to get at the end, and you don't know exactly where you're going, but you have the feeling that this could be an interesting direction. And I think that was a shared vision between the three of us, but also there were so many people, 20, 30, 50, 100 people working on this project for these months. And all of them were saying, okay, we don't exactly know how this will turn out, but we believe that it's important to try.
Yeah.
And then that overrides any kind of like little challenge or dispute or misunderstanding.
Vind ik daar typisch zo'n ding op de première, dat dan ook bestaat.
Yeah, sharing forces means doubling up the team for sure, but also allows other institutions a view behind the scenes. I felt like that because when you see a theater play or a museum show, you never see who's working behind the scenes on it. And once you share forces, you get a little look in how the other institution works, and I really appreciated that.
So it could also happen that there's a child just walking in wanting to join. Like these things can happen, you know?
Sure.
Yeah. And then just check if it's a problem, and otherwise go like, yeah, wo ist deine Note? You usher them back. I feel we as an audience need to see an abandonment and freedom in movement. I feel at the moment we are quite restricted in society, we're boxed in, political systems are shifting, democracy is questioned, what does it mean? So I think we all feel vulnerable, we feel quite uncertain what will happen, where things are moving. So to see a dancer relying on another dancer and fully surrendering themselves to each other, I think is something that our art form can offer as a gift. Because we deal with a lot of uncertainty and we're not sure what we can hold on to anymore, and sometimes literally, this is something that I'm really interested in exploring in my work. So abandonment also has risk involved, and risk also means you will fail and that you'll get out of control and that you'll fall down and you have to get up. And how do you support each other? When you fall down, you get up, and if I help you up, it can mean that it throws me down or it throws me off. How do we help each other overcome? How do we support each other to not fall over?
Then a lot of gratitude and strong wishes that we enjoy the moment, being with the audience tonight.
I think you just want to get on to it.
Let's make the space dirty. Exactly. All right. So I'm going to give you the sign now. As soon as Caitlin gives me the sign, then you're ready. Okay? Yep. All right. Enjoy.
Come on, darling. Toe it.
This place is a message. And part of a system of messages. Pay attention to it. Sending this message was important to us.